Hello and welcome to the Quality Coding stream where I do live coding for roughly an hour. It's usually an hour and a bit. And hey, Mudshark and Janos. Good to have you too. For those who are watching after the fact, welcome. It's always nicer if you could join the actual live coding like these two folks. I mean, they can tell you how it's not quite ensemble programming, mob programming, because of the lag and because we're going through this chat window rather than this chat window, that chat window, rather than, talking. Hey, Garbob. But it's better than just watching me code. Like, folks actually get involved, ask questions. It's fun. Anyway, come join the live version of this when you can. It's more fun for sure. But go ahead and subscribe and do those things so that I continue to show up for you. Schedule things I should mention. By the way, I do look, even in this bright light, a little darker. I enjoyed 2 weeks off on vacation, and it's good to be back. I missed this, oddly enough. But my schedule going forward for the next month is going to be a little weird. Yeah, I'm going to be using the new EAP of AppCode. We'll see how that goes. But schedule-wise, and I'll reiterate this again at the end, it's going to be every other week for the next month because I've got things coming up on Saturdays. Also, I think I'm going to bump this later by 1 hour to make room for some mentoring time that just came up, and I'm excited to help help a person with, and the time just works out nicely if I can move this an hour later. So those will be 2 changes coming in the Twitch schedule. As far as, let's see, other things. Oh, I forgot to say, my name is John Reed. I am a coach at Industrial Logic. That's Industrial Logic here. This is Industrial Logic here. You go to Industrial Logic Services to our public events. Actually, a couple things. If you go to our e-learning, microtesting is now available in Swift. And that is exciting to me. Another thing that's coming up is under our public events. Some workshops coming in January. Now is the time to book them with the training budget that you have. So go to Industrial Logic and check those out. All right. On to code and the new EAP. I am working in the AppCode pre-release. I always forget what EAP stands for, but it's the open beta. And I am eager to try the feature that I've been crying for years, which is inlining. Let me see if we can do a quick demo of this. What's something good I can extract and then inline? I don't know. Let's see. How about here? I'll take this and actually, yeah, I'll extract this to a variable first. Let's try that. Fine. you know, that this should work, but I should now also be able to inline it. And it says, "Hi, Hamzaig. Wow, it's good to have familiar faces or names." And for anyone else, for anyone else joining, say hello in the chat if you're lurking. But here's inline. Woohoo! Inline in AppCode technically is nothing new. Objective-C has a lot of support, including refactoring moves that we still don't have in Swift, such as extracting a parent class. We don't deal with classes as much anymore. There's move a method. We don't have that. And there's inline, but now we do. Look at this. The choice is, do you want to inline this one or do you want to inline all of them? And we say, inline all of them, please. Glorious. The other thing we can do is extract a function. Function is a fine name. There it is. And then say, you know, now I want to bring it back in. Same deal. Yeah, it did some reformatting on me. Is that, I'm not sure if that is Swift format that did that or if that's app code. Let's see. File watcher. Okay, I've got Swift format off. I'm going to turn that back on. I'm just going to reset, go back. Anyway, really excited. I've been, you know, moaning for, well, years about, great, we can extract, but why can't we inline? And recently got in touch with some folks made at JetBrains, made a personal plea. I don't know if that made a difference. All I know is that they started work on it. And it's great. All right, let's do some code. So for the next hour or so, for those of you who are just joining, we're going to do some refactoring. And I'm going to continue to use TCR, test and commit or revert. So if I make a change that passes tests like this, it should commit. Yep, the green bar went away. You can actually see here's our commit moments ago. Whereas if I make this something that fails, it should just boop, go. Oh, nothing's calling it. How about this one? Score. There. If I say every time you get a point, and now I know. Hey, Junaid. Good. Now I've got a name, a face for that name. Good to have you here. If I run tests and say every time a player gets a point, their points are gonna go up by 15. Well, that's not good. Boink. Okay. So it reverts. So we're set up for success. What you saw not work here is that we were starting to set up another score in parallel. This score is actually a cheat. It's just an int. And this is what we are using. This score we are setting up in parallel. We were starting to explore it, but it's not actually being used yet. So why don't we start by actually using it and see that? I feel like this is the obvious smell here of something that clearly is calling out to be continued. and let's see where it goes. The context for this is scoring a game of tennis. So where are we using score? Right there. Oh, there's score and there's score 2. All right. Which I think now that it's expressible by a literal, I can say equals 0, like that. It doesn't complain anyway. Yeah, and we got that thanks to David Ronquist saying, you should make it, or you can make it, expressible by integer literal. Cool thing. As always, you folks who are, they're here. We just got a bunch of people join. Hey, say hi in the chat. And feel free to ask me questions, even if they're unrelated to the code. But I'm just going to blaze on here, and let's see. Here's where score 2 is used, or set up. Now let's find out where score is used. So I want to start doing things in parallel. So really I want score 2 point also, and this doesn't exist. So let's create it. And point is going to look like that. All right, well, let's say the value, we increment the value. It didn't like that? Maybe it didn't like that because this is not mutable. Do I want this to be a class? I'm going to make it a class for now. Whoop, I'm not going to make it a class for now. I am going to make this mutating. Let's stay with struct for now. We'll see. Class is always sort of a cheap way out, I feel like, in Swift, where we don't use classes as much as we used to. Okay, so there's score. We're doing this in parallel. Where else are we using score? I should be able to replace this maybe with that. Okay. That works. On to the next. Can I switch on score 2? Good. One at a time, moving one at a time down my list of usages. And trying to be consistent as far as, whoop, it didn't like that. All right, and that's probably because it's doing this comparison here. Maybe we don't want to do, this is the kind of comparison that really needs to move into score itself. I think what I can do is say, give me the value. As long as it runs, it's committing. Remember, I'm doing TCR here. Well, I say remember, but there are plenty of new folks who have just joined. Every time I run tests, it's going to either commit or it's going to revert. Can you subtract score by 4? Maybe. But I'm doing this temporary thing, getting into the value when I really don't want to. This is a temporary step to moving some knowledge into giving score some a method here, something we can say. So let's keep going. Difference. So far, so good. Keep going. Here's another one. Very suspiciously duplicated code. And here's another duplicate instance. Oops, come back. And is that it? No, there are some more. So this is what I'm doing here is these are my search results for usages. I'm just walking through them one by one. Score 2 value. Score 2 value. I think that is maybe all. Let's see where score is used now. Just this one place. I predict that now I can say, get rid of that, and this will work. Good. And so I can get rid of that. And so I can get rid of this. Excellent. And shift over. This will now rename. Yeah, it's admittedly gross, right? This is what you get when you're midway through a refactoring, is that this value is exposed. Oh, these are the same. I should say there's stuff here we have to sort out. Exactly. That's what we're going to come back to. What was I doing? I was going to rename this to score and run tests. Look at all these lovely commits. I should note something from personal experience. Though I work as a coach and a trainer, I am currently on a gig through my company as a developer. This is new and exciting for me because I am working as a developer with my fellow coaches for a client. Our job is to deliver some software. But this means we get to work the way we teach. And I'm getting to experience the glorious things that the ways that wish I could have worked for the past 20 years. I'm finally getting a chance to do it. And part of it is like we do micro commits, not quite at this level, but we're doing trunk-based development. And so as soon as we get to a commit, it's like commit and push, straight to main. None of this PR business. All right, so score is yucky, value is exposed. Ooh, it's really exposed. This is probably not even used. No, it's not. So let me get rid of that at least. This should not allow outsiders to change it. Ugh. Make that private set. So the setter is now private. So this is the only place it's changed. So that's better. But all the places that use value directly, they really, I don't like that. And here are all the places. Where shall we start? There were some we can get the difference between two scores. This came up a couple of times. Why don't we do that? Ooh, score 2. Everything says score 2. Gross. All right. So I kind of want to move difference, which is, well, here's one version of it. I want to implement this across what would it look like? It would kind of look like game player 1 score I mean, this, I don't quite like the way this looks. I'd rather it used the minus operator, and there's probably a nice way to do that. But I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just trying to make this make it better first. Well, let's see what we can do with this. Comment that out. Will it figure out that this is returns? Oh, this is a nice new feature of AppCode in the pre-release, where I was wondering, will AppCode figure out that this is actually an implicit return statement, that it returns an integer? And I started to say, make it return, because I wanted to generate a method that returns an integer, but I can see it right here. This preview section on the right is brand new. So instead of just create the method, I can see, is it going to create it in the right way? Difference with a score, and it returns an integer. Looks good to me. This should be difference with other. And now we fix it up. How about that? I think this will work. It's not pretty. It's not the prettiest, but it's moving the responsibility where it belongs. I don't like ... But it's better, and better is good. Let's find the other place where there is a difference. Here it is. Hey, and let's use some fanciness. So I should be able to say game player 1 score difference with player 2 score, and this should pass. And now I'm gonna inline this. I don't know that I want to, I just want to prove that I can. Some inline choices there. Oop, there's a bug. Inline all, keep the local variable. Inline all, remove the local variable. I think I have a bug for JetBrains. I'm going to note this so I can file it later. That's fine. I'll fix it. How you all doing? I know I'm just sort of moving ahead here, and that's totally fine. I don't think there were any other places that used got the difference. So here's the next thing. I want to see if a score is greater than or equal to 4. And what do we call that? In tennis, it's like, and this is inside announce advantage, as opposed to the other one, which was inside of here. Announce win. Just looking at difference here and how it's used. So it's back to our advantage or win type of scenario, but I don't know what to call it. Lacking the domain knowledge. Hey, Mudshark, you're a tennis player. At least you know more about scoring than I do. Possibly scoreable point. Thank you. Except it's possibly, it's not just scoreable, it's possibly winnable, right? Possibly winning. Possible win. Let us take this. I'm going to play, just because I can. I'm going to take this part and extract it as a variable. AppCode is very eager to take my chained dots and snake them down, which makes a lot of sense for functional chaining, you know, of functional programming style. Makes less sense for digging into like a property of a property, which also makes sense because that's a smell. In one case, it's not a smell. And in another case, it is a smell. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to take that as a step. Actually, let me join it. Because what I want is game. Maybe this isn't quite what at the point I want. Maybe let me. I'm playing around here, moving in maybe slightly weirder steps. But again, the benefit of test and commit or revert is that the steps are super small. Oh, TCR, by the way, in Kent's vision, it's even more bonkers. He came upon Kent Beck came upon the idea of TCR, or rather, the person he was working with, whose name I can't remember, came upon the idea of TCR as they were working together on Kent's vision for Limbo, which was to have absolutely shared code that's like being shared all the time, updating all the time, in the smallest steps possible. So it's a distributed coding system for much like working, it's like taking trunk-based development to the next level. So what I wish is I want to take this and move it into a method. I'm just struggling to find the nicest way to do that. But I think the smallest way is to copy this body and start typing now. Player 1 score. Possibly win, or is possible win. Now that goes away. Let me fix up the return. Where is it? There we go. So is possible win. Let me now see if I can inline. Good. Let me see if, whoop. Is this another case of inlining failing? It is. All right, another bug. I'll inline manually. So now I can take is possible win and call it on the score. Dot. Good. Where's the other place? Here's another place. Does apply. Moving in such small steps. All right. There are a couple more places that use the value directly. What are they for? A temp score. Oh, switching. Oh! I'm going to leave this because this is another thing about scores, is that we should be able to get the English tennis terminology for a point. And I'm not ready to do that yet, because here's the other place. No, that's not the other place. There is another place that does this. Somewhere in the announcements. Here, love all for the announce tie version. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Yeah. What about this one? This is this. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, I'm going to leave value there alone because I really feel like the next step is to work on this love and 15 and 30 business. How's that sound? Hey, welcome, Hyperman012. Good to have folks here. I'm going to be coding for probably the next 20, 30 minutes or so. Doing refactoring in Swift. And so, Score, I would like Score to have knowledge of how to announce itself, how to do this. I mean, a map, possibly. How about a switch statement? I'm going to copy this whole switch and go to Score and stick it in here as a function of name, announce. Here's the smallest change I can make. Nothing is calling it yet, but I want to make sure it builds and is in there. Score.name. I'm kind of liking that. So let me change this to var name like that. I like that. Now let me stick in toString. That sounds awfully Java-ish. Nothing wrong with it. But if we switch on the value, I should be able to return love for 0. Let me do this again. Let me set my multiple cursors. Xcode also supports multiple cursors. But multiple cursor editing is a thing I am falling in love with. I have fallen in love with. And I encourage you to do it in whatever IDE you use. Most of them, I think, are happy doing it these days. There we go. Something like that. I don't think there is a 40. Nothing is using this yet, but it builds. But I believe I can go in here and say, let's just try this out. Take this love and replace it with a string interpolation of game scored name. A, that's good. There, there, and then the oddball. Not sure how to do this. Zero, one, or two. Okay, so advantage or deuce. Except that before it gets to the possibly winning point, it's love all, 15 all. So I'm going to code this up naively and say return if the score is less than or equal to 2, the score value. The thing I don't want to use is less than or equal to 2. Then this is what we want to return. Let's see if this works. It does work. In which case I can get rid of everything else. And just return deuce. Because all this is inside of the announced tie. You can see in the breadcrumbs here where this is. Xcode has now the nice breadcrumbs at the top. AppCode has them. You can move them around, but you can see wherever I am, wherever my cursor is. I guess Xcode is more like where the scroller is, where you are in the scrolling, and so it keeps it at the top. This is now no longer needed, and this is cleaning up. Hey, this is cleaning up all right. So that's part of it. The other part of it is, where was it? Here. What the heck is it even doing here? Why is it looping? I don't know. This looks like a very complicated way of doing something. Because I think what it does is spit out like love 15, love 30, love 40. It's just weird. But let's move in small steps and we'll discover where we go. So this second case 0 switching on temp score, where temp score is a value. Ooh, let's change temp score to the score itself. Temp score. So here's what I propose. Var temp score 2. I don't think it's switching on who's higher, and I remember, like Mudshark, you said a few weeks ago that it really ought to switch depending on who's serving, but it doesn't take that into account. So I think this should be a score equal to that. Trying to move away from the integer here, so I'm setting up this parallel thing. If I equals 1, let's break this up. This feels like duplication, but whatever. Oh, this is gross. Hey, there's a semicolon. Look at that. Not something you see very often. Temp score 2 is going to equal to be that. And now I think I can switch on temp score 2. Oh, no, I don't want to switch on it. I think I just want score to be equal to temp score 2 name. Does it return that? Yeah. Can I just do that? Will this? No, this won't work. Other way around. Back up, back up. Slow down, John. This first score. Golly, this is some weirdo code. I've succeeded in making it more complicated, but I don't think it's that much more complicated. Here's the weird thing. It works. It's horrible, but it works, right? The tests run. They pass. I can't even. Is there an early return in here? What is this doing? I don't know. Case 0. All right, let's see if I can switch, say, this is going to be temp score to name. Does this work? If it doesn't, it'll bop away. I don't really know what it's doing. All I know is that the test passed. Oh, here is 40. Okay, so this will fail. If I stick this in, I'm going to get, like, it should revert. All right. So really, it should be case 3. 40. And sorry, it's American spelling. But now I should be able to go like that. Okay, which means I can collapse all this by pulling it out. There we go. And wait. I reverted it. Okay. Did not like that. Oh, it's mutating itself. It's doing something weird, I swear. What I want is to pull this out and get rid of this case. Will it let me do that? It will. Well, that's already better. It's horrible. I don't think temp score is used anymore. Hey, did it show unused? Man, this is some horrible crap. So it renders score player 1, then adds score for player 2? How is it in here? This line is necessary. What? Oh man. My head hurts. It doesn't, but at least now it's all on one screen full instead of being spread all over. So that's an improvement, but it leads me to suspect that it's coming here to add the dash. Here's a theory. Can I say can I say return this, and then the same thing for player 2, name. Watch. Oh my gosh. Was that delicious? Oh, ho, ho, ho. Wow. And yet if we're honest, we've all written weirdo code, or we've encountered weirdo code like that, where it's like, it works, don't touch it. And the value of refactoring is with a good set of test suites, I can keep running over things. Hello, Arctic. Good to have you. We're doing some Swift coding here live for a few more minutes. Refactoring. And can I just show you? We got down to this line, but here's, let me see if I can show you where it started. I don't know how long. Here. C and microcontrollers. Oh. So, and Python. Nice. Python is a fun language, y'all. It really is. So I'm doing the tennis scoring refactoring kata, which you can find. Let me find that for you real quick. Emily Bache. For those of you who want to try this on your own, you can do this in a number of languages, including C, Python, JavaScript, Perl, Go, what have you. And you too can experience the fun of this heinous tennis score announcing code that came down to a single line. So that was a huge improvement. I'm sure there's more stuff to clean up here. But we're starting to get to a point where I'm feeling the end of this session, if you know what I mean. Because that was huge. Let me take a look at made possible by having the score announce its own name. Is it possible that the value is now no longer used outside? Not quite. Not quite. What's this? If it's less than or equal to 2, this feels like another predicate. So we have is possible win, but it's like there's is possible advantage. I'm guessing. We got a few more minutes. I think this is a pretty small move. What I'd like is to take this much, copy that, and say is I'm not even sure if this is correct, if the name is correct. And so maybe I should say is possible applesauce, because I'm not sure about the name. And that at least makes it clear that I'm not sure about the name. Implement this. And this will still pass. So it's not really applesauce. It's that it is definitely not advantage territory. Greater than 2, it's possible advantage. Yeah. So in essence, if I flip this, if I negate this, this should still pass. If I now say, I'm going to move this not here out here. I'm just trying to find the right name for this thing. Is right? How's that? You saw the steps I took to get there. It was interesting. I used app code to say, flip this around, like negate the operation, the comparison, and then I manually moved the not out to here. So if it's not a possible advantage, now I feel like this is kind of weird looking, but it's better. Answering my first question, does that get rid of the use of value? I think now value is only used internally and can be made wholly private. Yes. That feels like a win. Now switch the returns and remove the bang. Thinking about that, I can say invert. Trying to find out how to do this in a nice way, but how's that? Like that. If it's possibly advantage and we're in announce tie, say deuce. Otherwise, say the name of the score, all. Hey, that's pretty good. As opposed to announce, let's see, down towards the bottom. Announce score. It just does this. Hey, this is looking pretty good. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. Is there anything else I want to say? Is there anything else I really want to do? And one question I face is, sorry about my flipping around here. Score probably needs to move out now into its own file. there's still a question in my mind of what's left of these like chaining things. Game player 1 point, player 2 point, and maybe it's not bad. And maybe this is done, or done enough for the purposes of a refactoring demo. I think what I'll do is on my own time, I'll play around with it and see if there's a session left in this. But otherwise, I think the obvious thing would be to move, sorry, not this one, score. Will it let me do this? Moves the file, but it won't move. It won't let me move score by itself. Heck, let's do this real quick. Let me just grab this whole thing and stick it in a new file. Oh, it goes in here. Called score. And slap that in. I may need import foundation. If this doesn't revert, it's good. 1 point could probably be moved to game. Yeah, there's stuff in there. Feels a little funny. Okay, so I think this is a good place to break. I will see if there is more to continue. There may be. But this was a lot of fun. It was really, really cool to see that heinous for loop disappear into a single statement. And so yeah, very cool stuff. It feels good. I got to experience using some new features. Found a bug, which I'll file with JetBrains. I'll see if I can reproduce that for them into something that they can fix. Going forward, my schedule, like I said at the very beginning, but for those of you who are here now, I have a little bit of a complicated month coming up. So next week I will not be able to make it. I will be back in 2 weeks, but I will also shift it an hour later. So I would start now rather than the normal time. And this is to allow some extra time for mentoring. Other than that, I think this is a wrap. Thank you for coming. If you've been watching this on a replay, whether it's on Twitch or on YouTube, give it a like or a subscribe or whatever you need to do to train the algorithm in your favor so that if this is interesting, more of it shows up for you. Thanks for joining. I will see you in 2 weeks, an hour later at this time. All right, take care.